Greetings, gentle viewers, and welcome to the second episode of Trigger Happy Havoc Danganronpa. We've just entered Hope Speak Academy, and wait a minute, something feels off here.
I think there might be some other piece of context. We probably haven't gone back to the very beginning.
Probably.
Well, we may have gone back to the very beginning of the game or time, but we haven't gone back to the very beginning of this Let's Play.
That's correct. But we are the Bittersweet Gamers.
Oh yeah, I'm the Opinionator.
And I'm We Squared.
So one thing we did not do at the end of the last episode was try and process any of the information we were given. And of course, we then had like several weeks away from this game because of my awful arm injuries.
I blame Monokuma.
It probably was Monokuma, yeah. I really wouldn't be surprised. Wait, now that I think about it, it was kind of under mysterious circumstances that it happened. Huh. I mean, you don't suppose...
Nah.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't even be entertaining that sort of thinking. In any case, in all seriousness, what we have had a lot of time to do is think about Danganronpa. Now, before we get to what's actually happened and what we think about it at present, I want to address something that we didn't really spend too much time talking about, which was the problems with the last case. I mean, under the circumstances, I guess we'll never really find out.
Probably not. Although, Kyoko might actually know the circumstances, and if we do meet up back with her, however the heck that's going to work,
well, we'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think that there was something really fundamental in the circumstances that she knew and we didn't.
But she couldn't just come out with it.
She was, for some reason, she was acting really weird.
That's correct.
And really out of character, and never protested that fact. Every time we tried to call her on her doing weird things, she was like, "You're falling into the trap."
Yeah.
And never actually admitted that she did or didn't do anything.
That's right.
It's entirely likely she didn't do anything
I don't think she did at all. I mean, think about it.
No, you go ahead first.
Think about it. When Monokuma was talking to the spy, he said that the 16th student was his trump card, which means he could create a scenario in which he could just off whoever he wanted. Just kill someone to get everything going.
And that clearly is... Okay, this isn't where I was going, but this is apparently where you were going, because like I said, we've had a lot of time to think. The trump card was just being able to instantly kill the 16th student, because then, as was demonstrated in terms of like getting... In terms of the different endings and getting the vote, he didn't care who.
No.
He did not even care who. He was going to get rid of a thorn in his side either way.
Yes.
Whether that was Makoto or Kyoko, whatever.
He did not care.
So that would be the trump card, is that he could create a situation to kill somebody.
Yes.
And that's what the 16th student was for, which almost makes you feel bad for her. But just in the same general way that you feel bad for everybody in here after they've demonstrated, that they're terrible human beings like Leon. Like freaking Leon. Though I guess we're about to maybe find out an alternate perspective on that.
I suppose so.
Now, what I was going to say is alternately, Kyoko did do it entirely on purpose. I mean, I kind of don't think so.
Me either. I think that the execution was far too generic.
This ties into something I was going to talk about in a minute, but first...
It's like that was an execution for anyone. If Kyoko had done it, then he would have definitely prepared a special execution for her.
Right, but that wasn't like that at all. Plus, we got to see it was different people in it. It clearly was a generic execution. I'll get to what I was saying about Kyoko in a little bit, in a point where it's a little more appropriate. But also, a lot of the facts of the case were just strange.
Yeah.
Well, consider this. It's not a coincidence that the fake nails were there and that it was a very Junko-like body.
Right.
We never found out any of that. We never found out any of these details at all or why any of those mattered.
You're right.
It just never even addressed that.
It was something for us, not the characters in the trial, kind of.
Right.
Well, it never really got that far, though. The trial was just like, nope, you've come to a decision, vote!
Because Monokuma was just like, yeah, hurry up and vote.
Also, since everyone was so adamant to point out that he did not in fact say Mukuro Ikusaba was the one making the rules, we figured out that the only one who could make the rules is Makoto.
He was around every time there was a change in regulations.
And he was always asking about that specific thing. And then Monokuma's just like, yes?
Well, one of them was Celeste. The first time it happened, it was Celeste who was asking about it, not Makoto.
Are you talking about the not going out after curfew thing? Because that was a rule they made up themselves.
No, I'm talking about the first time a regulation was added. Which was about loaning the e-handbooks.
Oh, that's a good point.
No, Makoto wasn't the one pushing for it, but he was present.
He was present every time.
Every time Makoto has been present for these, like, even when Monokuma was like, oh, I never thought of that. Well, it's a regulation now.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually what brings me to the point I was going to mention earlier.
Uh-huh.
See, on the one hand, there's some decent evidence to indicate that Makoto is the one who's writing the new regulations.
Right. I mean, not only like the sort of flashes of him like you can't leave, that sort of thing.
Well, no, there's only been one of those. There have you said the flashes, but that's not true.
Yeah.
There has been one.
That's correct.
Okay, there's been that one time where he had that dream, and then everything was all messed up because he was sick, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually what I wanted to talk about. See, why was he sick?
Oh.
What happened when he was sick?
He was from what
happened to Monokuma when he was sick?
Monokuma deactivated
and didn't reactivate until he wasn't sick anymore. Then why was he sick? What did we just learn about? A virus from Alter Ego.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is, frankly, has all the time when we've been saying we refuse to stop suspecting the main character, has that been right? I actually I'm actually pretty much thinking that Makoto is Monokuma.
Is the mastermind?
Whether he wants to be or not,
right?
I don't know. But that would make him... his position would make more sense with this whole thing.
Yeah.
No. I said Monokuma, not the mastermind.
Oh, good point.
The mastermind planned everything.
That's true.
I'm not asserting that Makoto planned everything.
I gotcha.
But I think that he's in some sort of special rule, and that seems to be connected to Monokuma. See, it was after you mentioned that, well, he's always been around for the new regulations, that I tried to take that one step further.
Right.
And, I mean... we're just speculating. Did you know we did that, guys?
Yeah.
But that seems to be... There's something. There's something that is obviously extremely special about Monokuma because, needless to say, there was a reboot / time travel / dimensional travel / the world started over / the game started over. We have, up until this point, talked about any number of possibilities of things that it could be. We've never taken the existence of this whole thing at face value at all, and have even challenged a lot of the really basic facts. Like some of the things we assumed in the beginning that have never been talked about since.
Yeah.
I like, the restocking of food or other items. I think that's still consistent with the computer simulation.
Yeah. And like repairing Makoto's room after the attack.
Yeah, like how is it that everything, like at first we were expecting it to be all physical, but it's like things just didn't seem to be going in that direction.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when we were routinely warned not to make anything of Monokuma running around and appearing. Okay, it's like that's fine. That's fine. And I appreciate that because if we know that there's something we're not supposed to take seriously, like up front, then that's fine. Then we won't take it seriously. But we're going to take it seriously if we don't know that we're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So we have no idea what's about to happen.
I'm so excited.
But we've been thinking about it. Anyway, enough wasting time. Let's start Danganronpa.
Okay, first things first, let's check the report card.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
Okay, the report card still says what it says. I was curious.
How fascinating. Makoto and Kyoko still are marked alive.
Uh-huh.
And we have Thinking about it, on everybody else, you have all the different pages depending on how much time you've been with them. Makoto, it's always just stayed as the one, and we never really questioned that on account of him being the protagonist. But we also...
Maybe we should have.
We also never... Coming into this game... Wait, there was something else, too. Coming into this game, I was assuming that the main character would be like a visual novel main character where you end up finding out about their circumstances throughout the basic narration of the game and really get it from their perspective. But the way it's turned out in this game is that you don't find out anything about Makoto at all. He just says, oh, I'm normal. Oh, I'm normal. Oh, I'm normal. So normal that is it actually even possible to be that normal? He said that the most of what he thinks he gets from TV. He sees the same things everybody else does. He has the same concerns everybody else has. Isn't that like impossibly average?
I believe you are correct.
Have you ever known anybody that quote unquote normal?
No, never.
And so anyway, we just took it at face value and assumed that we would be finding out more about him. Because normally visual novel main characters either have a really interesting backstory or... Well, I was about to say maybe it's different in something like Phoenix Wright, but really it's the same in those two.
Yeah.
That is a miss on our part. So, I'm assuming if the report card is current...
Then the regulations should be current.
I'm very curious.
Yep.
So, does this mean that Makoto has the current e-handbook?
They hadn't been handed out yet.
That's right! So does he have an e-handbook?
He must. We just looked at it.
And we don't, I mean, for all we know, no time has actually passed, and and we've completely misread the whole thing, and Makoto just woke up with after the same set of dialogue, and it's gonna be where... And he's going to come out and everybody's going to be like, what? What are you doing here? We thought you got dropped into the pit and died.
Possible.
So anyway, my body and perhaps my soul felt heavy. It wouldn't be weird for me to zonk off in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but what was I doing asleep here just now? It wasn't any classroom I'd ever been in before. What the heck is going on?
Also, didn't I just die like 5 minutes ago?
What's up with the green color?
Was that not normal?
No. They never used it before. It was either white or blue.
Well, that was depending on the time of the day.
Maybe. This is
I'm
just
pretty sure.
different.
Like if it was nighttime, it was blue.
Gah!
Oh!
Okay. Finally. I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again. And then...
Well, Monokuma did say we were in the garbage heap.
Yeah, so I guess we did just misread the situation. And
well played, game.
How could you not think that, though?
I know.
After the game seems to start over?
Yeah.
But then how did he survive, though? You can't just survive randomly after falling down a giant pit.
That's true.
And then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare? No. This isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast dark cavern with a barest hint of light seeping in. Trash was piled high all across the area.
I don't know that I'd call that trash as so much as rubble.
Yeah, rubble is a good way to describe it. I mean, this is what happened to the old execution sets. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. Heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in there till I wasted away and died? No, I can't let that happen.
I'm seeing that Monokuma rubble thing. Isn't that the remains of the capsule? Like the rocket ship thing?
Maybe.
I think that's the top of it. I might be wrong.
Well, it clearly looks like it's It could have been any little thing from any of the executions from part of the set.
That's true.
You could believe it'd be any of them because it has his own bad taste. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remembered all too well what had happened. Alter Ego saved me, and he used up the last little bit of his strength to do it. So I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First up was to start looking for a way out of there. So you mean Makoto really did just mysteriously survive? I mean, is that the chair he was in? How so?
Maybe, but I don't necessarily... That does look like the desk he was sitting at.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be that the floor is littered with all kinds of crud that broke his fall, but to the extent that he's not injured?
That's the
unbelievable part.
This stuff doesn't break your fall. It breaks you after your fall.
It falls your break?
Look,
No.
it is possible. There have even been weird scenarios in the real world where people have...
Like plummeted stories and still gotten out of it okay?
Yeah. One that was kind of interesting actually had to do with how the fellow landed on a glass ceiling.
Ooh.
It ended up in this freak occurrence, and it was duplicatable. It actually ended up like completely breaking his fall and like redirecting the impact. You'd think it would actually have killed him deader, but it didn't. It actually totally saved his life.
How interesting.
Yeah, but anyway. Well, I mean, remember, Monokuma was like, oh, it doesn't matter that the execution stopped. He still died. There's no way he would survive that fall. And then Makoto immediately gets up and has not been killed at all.
Yeah, that's true.
And so there has to be some reason he survived the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they didn't want to make that a big deal, why would Monokuma have said it?
Right.
Is that an airplane? How'd something like that wind up in the school's garbage pit? No,
This does seem like the remains of executions.
Yeah. That's a rocket. You were right.
Uh-huh.
And a tank. I better not think too much about what I'm seeing down here, because the commenters already have.
Let's use the tank to blow open the door.
This is a desk. It's probably the one that fell down here with me.
There's a parachute built into it. That explains it.
I mean, look at how it landed. So Makoto landed because it's not like he could have just stood up and walked off.
He was tied up.
Yeah, so with Makoto tied up, it landed like this, upside down, which is how it fell, and Makoto's like, ow, that really hurt.
He is the ultimate lucky student.
I guess so.
Or unlucky, whichever way.
Take your pick. Love the ominous staircase. And it is indeed a keyhole. A giant lock with a small key. Well, to the surprise of literally no one, it's locked. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled or kicked at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't going to be that easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon...
Better make myself at home.
I decided to look around for some food. I don't know why I think I would find some.
Garbage?
Garbage? Is this really garbage? Is this? I mean, what's he gonna find? The Mondo butter?
Oh.
I
made myself sad. It's butter to nothing.
For some reason, there's plenty of food here, which suggests it really is not just for the executions, but for everything. But it's all rotten. But that was pointless too.
No one's ever seen me eat on screen anyway.
Well, no one's ever seen him on screen, because...
That's fair.
You don't need to worry about eating too much on screen. It's like we don't need to show him going to the bathroom either.
Yeah.
We'd always assumed, apparently correctly, that there had been other cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And this just seems to...
verify that.
Right. Food that's been here long enough.
Mm-hmm. Like the tank.
Yeah, like executions.
Airplane.
Executions that we'd never seen. Next, I searched for some water.
It's all rotten, too.
How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are an all-around bad idea?
If only Kyoko was here. Surely she has survival training.
Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked in on all sides. But that's still not enough reason to give up. Because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. After making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep, because I've fallen several hundred feet and landed on my head.
Have a concussion, yeah.
My sleep was deep and uninterrupted.
Hello, I'm the ultimate janitor down here.
That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed.
Oh, man.
And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. Funny you should phrase it that way. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign. Not exactly.
Don't ask why I'm here.
Fortunately, he landed on his hair.
Yeah.
G-crunch.
Yes.
Classic sound effect, G-crunch.
Oh, this is garbage.
What the? The strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. And it really is garbage. In bags. Well, as I watched, the pile of garbage jostled and formed an odd shape.
Moving on its own?
Did something fall down over there?
You know, if Kyoko knows he's down here, she could easily send him what he needs.
Easily, yeah.
Just toss it down the trash.
What trash?
Oh, you're right. They're supposed to put all their trash in the incinerator. But if she has access to everything, she could probably find something to dump down.
And remember, they're even all in bags.
Yeah.
What could it have been?
My cheeseburger!
Well, I can't eat that. It's kind of old.
No, it was preserved by the alien technology, right?
Yasuhiro, you're not really down here.
I know, you're just going insane.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, I'm just seeing if there's anything else that changed. It's just, doesn't the statement "something fell down here," and then you look at all this, seem a little unusual? I'm sure you're right, though, about Kyoko, but, why? Where would it have come from? No. Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here?
Nah, Byakuya's up here with us. I heard that.
I really am losing my mind.
If he can hear us, why not the others?
Jeez. Also, I would not call this a giant piece of trash.
Right?
I would call this a bunch of bags of trash.
Maybe it's a translation thing.
I carefully stretched my hand out toward whatever it was that had tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash. Rude.
Oh, you came down here yourself. Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was.
This place smells awful. Plus, I think there's something on my head.
That's a nice hat. Go cubed?
I think it's Gokubuto. Gokubuto. Like T.O. kind of.
I'm sure you're right, but frankly, Cup Gokubuto and Cup Gokubutput don't really make a difference.
I suppose you're right.
Oh well. This is kind of making me slightly hungry, though. Well,
Here, you can eat this.
I'm not going to tell her anything. Because I want revenge. Kyoko!
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected.
Now, I know how you managed to cushion your fall, and I'm still curious where the trash was that you managed to fling yourself down. But why did I survive? What are you doing here?
So,
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you.
I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again.
First, I have something for you.
That never happened, right? Understood.
Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished.
Carbohydrates and hydration. Thank you. I snatched the bread and water that she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way toward my stomach. Oh, that really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going.
So you still haven't given up then?
Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at.
Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. So, come here often?
Are you trying to pick me up?
Well, I'm trying to pick you up out of the garbage.
But Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me?
Well, it was my fault you got here, actually. To pay a debt. Or, no, to atone.
Atone?
You.
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything.
So, you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you.
So that's what she means. During the trial, this was the point that we kept being fixated on. That it was just so strange for her to suddenly turn on Makoto.
Right.
You could say that it was maybe strange for Makoto to suddenly turn on Kyoko, but again, following the evidence and truth.
Yeah!
Well, we'll see what she says, because we still don't really know what happened. I could believe that she did it, and I could believe that she didn't. I could believe that she understood that there was something that she needed to do to eliminate Makoto, and then tried to do it.
Right.
Or maybe that she was trying to force this to happen.
Yeah!
Whatever this is. That doesn't appear to be the case, but for all we knew, that was how it was going to turn out. Don't say that! You didn't abandon me!
No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but... there was a reason that I had to survive, no matter the cost.
Oh? Are you actually going to open up now? Why did you have to survive?
It's true.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything.
Well, it's about time.
The reason I have to survive
In other words...
is so that I can do what I came to this school to do.
So you remember that? Or was everything you were saying really just a lie so you could cover up this? Huh.
I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason.
Okay, I have to say something. On that line, it's clearly what? But I said, huh? I did it automatically. I did it without thinking.
I didn't even notice either.
Clearly, my time of injury has caused severe problems. And you know, as far as what you guys have seen, it took us a while to catch up with the releases. But in real life, it was actually the day after Makoto fell in the pit that I got hurt.
Oh, I see.
Huh.
So about that very important reason.
About that! So you have some reason for coming to Hope's Peak?
Indeed.
That's right. At least I did once.
Before being caught up in all of the whatevers. Ultimate question mark.
Yep. Still don't know what she's an ultimate was.
Still don't know. Once.
Until recently, I'd forgotten what it was.
Ah, okay, so her memory came back.
Or at least part of it.
Well, there's definitely been memory manipulation of some kind, so it would make sense that she would have hers wiped since she was the one who had the most problematic knowledge going into it, perhaps?
Most likely.
You forgot? But that's...
I had no memory of what my purpose was.
No memory? That's impossible. Amnesia? Then, is it really true? You really did lose your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at this school?
The first thing... You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point my memory was gone.
What an interesting way to describe it. I mean, I have no experience whatsoever with memory loss, so I don't
How would you know?
Yeah, how would I know?
Got you thinking now, don't I?
Well, especially as we get older, we don't store as much information in our long-term memories because most of our memory is made up of routine actions that we have to engage in, and they just lose, like, the normal mundane routine stuff just loses any reason to stick out. So although technically it is stored in your memory in a way that most people can't access, like as far as we really think about it, we just don't think about it at all.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't stick out. It's not exceptional. So that kind of means that most of us act as though 50% or more of our lives never happened.
Oh.
Maybe I really have had amnesia. Maybe you were right. Maybe we all have. Next, I'll get my tinfoil hat.
You're the best tomato of the bunch. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to this school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was.
But what would make you forget all that? Because I haven't noticed all the memory shenanigans.
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient.
Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the Mastermind. They stole my memory.
That makes sense. It's the only thing it could be, since we know that the Mastermind has had access to their memories or something like it. But we don't have to worry about the something like it, since we've just been told that yes, we were right. Because he did take your memory.
Yeah.
But why would they want to do that?
There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability. Somehow, they would interfere with the Mastermind's plans.
Okay, so it doesn't actually remove it, it blocks it. We know that some other aspect of the memory has to have been blocked because as Hifumi was dying, he got past that block. And clearly Kyoko has gotten past that block. So everybody has these memory blocks. At first,
it's possible the blocks might be gone since the game is technically over. Because remember, after this one, everyone goes up to the second floor of the dorms and lives out their peaceful student life. TM.
That is true.
So at this point, the Mastermind succeeded, maybe? Or
maybe.
thinks he has?
From what we saw with the bad ending, nobody seemed to ever think about the memory again. Like they're missing memories and just move forward.
Yeah.
So that means there has to be something that causes access to your memories. And also, as we found from the first or the second or one of the motives, the second one, I guess it was.
Your worst secret?
Yeah. Like there was some of that stuff nobody should have ever been able to know.
Yeah. Like Celeste said.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was stuff that they knew from when they were previously going to the school, because that's what appeared to happen. There was a time, and that time was chopped out. Okay. We're just going over everything, because, again, we didn't play this game in a week straight. So we have to make sure we remember everything, or at least everything that actually stuck out to us.
Right.
So the Mastermind just stole them from you.
However...
And it could also mean, somehow, my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the Mastermind.
There was some stuff that you seemed to know, but you didn't seem to really know a lot of.
Right.
And that's an understatement.
Which is why I have to get them back. Okay, so she hasn't gotten everything back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time.
But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is that?
If I did that, and we all worked as one, the Mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's also always a chance that the Mastermind is actually one of us. Achoo! Sorry, I don't know why that just happened. You look kind of weird, Makoto.
Well, classic escape game.
Yeah.
It's not always true.
That's correct.
Well,
But I think it's happened common
supposed
enough.
to be true. It's supposed to be true, but in some of the cases, it was a stretch to make it be true.
I see.
Anyway, you got to think about it. Huh. I did it again!
There, Damon.
Somebody comfort me.
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it. Right?
I don't like it when you talk like that, Kyoko. The Mastermind. One of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However,
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me.
But why me?
Because among everyone, you were least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but...
I see. I guess I'll take that as a compliment. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand.
Yes?
I should understand everything.
An ordinary kid like me.
My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's the same thing he said before.
Yeah.
What could that mean?
What does it mean?
I mean, we've seen from the bad ending that if he just stays here, if they just stay here, everything is like they said on the box. Like, that's what happens. You just live out your life here in the school with all your needs being provided for. But he acted against that goal to end up here.
Yep.
It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen? Especially after I said there's no way I could be the mastermind.
listen.
Are you okay? You're kind of going a little weird.
Oh, yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey,
Even now, I still trust you, you know. It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced.
Apology accepted. I appreciate that. So I guess we could have seen that coming too. In hindsight, it seems obvious, but isn't that the way this works? Isn't that the way that fiction and plot twists always work if they're well done? Is that they're all obvious in hindsight?
Yeah, that's part of the, like, that aha moment, you know?
Yeah. For instance, it wasn't necessarily that she was hiding some things, although she was. But the reason that she had this trouble was with Makoto like this was that she just didn't know how to ask because of her own personality. The reason I say we could have seen that coming was how she would occasionally react in a rather normal emotional way. Like when she thought that she'd really been stabbed in the back.
Yeah,
Then
she got angry.
couldn't trust. She got angry and started treating Makoto unreasonably. It makes it make sense.
Right.
Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. They just said that. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So, how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So,
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability.
Oh!
I am the ultimate robot.
You mentioned your ability. Spy, cyborg.
I still think, like, the caduceus on her tie has something to do with it. Doctor.
Doctor would make sense, yeah.
Especially all the knowledge she has about poking at bodies.
She and Sakura were the people who noticed that something strange had happened, but they said to their body. They didn't say to their mind. They said to their body.
My ability, what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective. Is anyone surprised?
Or it really was just that. Okay. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like you said, the ultimate detective. What is up with all the games we play and very young detectives?
Hey, Shadow of Destiny didn't have a detective in it.
Well, there was the main character.
What? Wait, was he a detective?
Functionally.
Okay, functionally. That's fair. That's fair.
And I mean, York wasn't exactly young, but...
That's true.
Correct.
And the reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy? There was someone I had to find here in the school.
Was it Mukuro Ikusaba? Who else could it have been?
Genocide Jill?
Oh, I mean, that would make sense,
Yeah.
going after a serial killer. You had to find someone. Who?
So,
Well,
Or the Mastermind. She hasn't remembered that part, perhaps.
it was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy.
The headmaster. Why'd you want to find the headmaster? I mean, who wouldn't?
Because he's my father.
Okay!
Didn't see that coming.
That would be a good reason to do it. Okay, all right. And that's why when she said that the headmaster couldn't possibly be the mastermind.
Yeah.
All right. What?
He's the ultimate headmaster.
in other words,
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak.
Huh. I see. So then how would she actually know that that the headmaster wasn't the mastermind?
The ultimate detective? I'm not sure.
Kyoko's dad is the Hope's Peak headmaster? Then that explains when Alter Ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved.
I'll find a way. Huh? No matter what it takes, I will find the headmaster.
What?
No matter the cost.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on?
My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him.
That does make sense, yeah.
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room.
And I still want you to talk about what you found in that room.
We're getting to it!
Where Ikusaba came in and stole everything! I hit that one button. But I'm pretty sure it was a, what did you find?
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess. The desk drawers dumped on the floor.
Just like last time, it's because I'm playing a Super Robot Wars again. It's a different one.
The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there.
Yeah, that makes sense. You mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes, and to confirm my suspicion...
Why didn't that get reset?
Good question.
Why would the food or the chemicals in different offices or blood packs get replaced, but not, and rooms would get
Then it must have
cleaned
been
and
left
murder
like that on
scenes would get
purpose.
cleaned, but the headmaster's office stays the
Well, maybe
same.
because it was locked and didn't think anyone would get in there.
Maybe, yeah.
I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found.
Right. But why there? Because it was the only place left.
Because I also found this in the headmaster's room.
Ah, this is some kind of map.
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Mukuro's profile and that key.
Why would Mukuro's profile be up? Well, I guess because he has the headmaster would have data on all the students.
Yeah. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use.
That makes sense.
Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time, and I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, that room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room.
So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However,
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors.
As in, it's our goal area, but it's in the faculty rooms. So what was it like? That part of the school, I mean.
It's hard to describe. All I can say is,
I...
the moment I saw it, I realized.
You know, in that ending, we didn't really see anything at all. We just got the picture of the future.
Yeah. Whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we ever imagined.
Yeah? What do you mean?
So...
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough since I probably still have the key.
It sounds like it must be important. And how could it be more horrific than
Right?
we imagine? Though again, it does seem to just, like, blow off the whole battle royale angle. And really ominous.
However,
Of course, once I got to the second floor of the dorms, there were no cameras and no monitors, which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building.
Oh, you got anything else?
I was so preoccupied with investigating that area, it was unforgivably careless of me.
Okay.
however...
Of course, once I got... Hey!
Oh, you knocked that off! Huh? Okay, so it has to do with Mukuro Ikusaba, doesn't it?
The 16th student, hidden somewhere in the school.
Kyoko, sweetie.
I was upstairs for most of that.
Okay.
However,
Watch out for her.
Kyoko!
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her.
Okay, that was one thing that we had to say, but why is it that you didn't... Why didn't you try... It would have been easier... The answer is the narrative. The answer is the narrative structure of the game. Okay, I know that! Having said that, why didn't you say something? It would have been easier for us to believe in you if it didn't look like the evidence was pegging you. If you would have said, it wasn't me...
She
just
must have needed Makoto to get down here.
Well, I mean, that was one of the hypotheses we had, but she already admitted that she abandoned him.
That's true. Okay.
It's like she just was like, all you're doing is falling into the trap instead of constantly protesting. Instead of constantly protesting.
That's true.
Like, like an appeal, Makoto, I swear to you, I didn't do it. Please believe me. Why didn't she do that? The answer was because if she did, we would never have wanted to pursue the lie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. I'm not complaining about it. But it's one of those things where, like, from an internal sense, not from an external sense looking at the game, but from an internal sense of participating in the game, it's like, why didn't you explain yourself?
And I know it wasn't you either.
Right. I know you're right. But that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi, so then who did kill her, which we spent most of the time discussing.
anyway,
What I can say for sure is that the Mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikusaba was to get me killed. That's why the evidence was planted in her room.
Right. Of course, it points to, well, I mean, he was fine with it being Makoto, too. That still makes me wonder if it's even possible to get the wrong answer.
Right?
Get you killed. Well, then why'd he accept me?
indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial.
It was.
The Mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly, except they kind of did.
You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly.
With minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
Yeah, she wasn't
In
breaking
other
any other
words-
rules. The Mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Except by doing so, what they did, they broke all kinds of rules.
Yeah, he still broke plenty of other rules. I thought that kind of what we got out of that was that the Mastermind was fine with not following the rules.
Yeah.
But wanted to have the appearance of following the rules. For instance, by knowing that neither of the people were actually killed,
Then everyone should have died when they voted for either of them.
or Monokuma graduated. But either way, that should have.
Yeah.
That still violated this rule.
Yes.
All remaining students will be executed.
Mm-hmm. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it.
And what about Mukuro always running around bopping or trying to stab Makoto? Like, that doesn't just disappear.
Right?
The Mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules? Well, that makes it sound like the Mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
Which they're not.
Hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Yeah?
There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto.
I noticed. I noticed.
Yep.
I could have become the victim.
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
You were in the room right afterwards. And that was another point that didn't even get discussed really in the trial.
Yeah.
Kyoko admitted to being there, but Makoto kind of dropped it. But there was so much
There's a lot of crap going on.
And Monokuma was trying to rush everything.
Yeah.
Instead of us normally going through everything like we always did to go through all the evidence, Monokuma was like, no, we're done now. Bam,
Yeah.
the end. Yeah, I guess you're talking about during the night.
I can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death.
Ooh. What?
I can hear the god of death as he moves. Yes? That ability naturally draws me into cases, just like this.
Why didn't you say anything to anybody else then?
Man, she's really good at detecting.
Anyway,
Which is exactly what happened with you.
Does she mean that to a limited degree, she can sort of predict someone's death?
Maybe, maybe.
Well, then why didn't she ever do anything to any of the people who were murdered?
That's a good question. I was in the dorms, and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell, and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I ran into your room, and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... Whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead.
So what?
I guess you just chased them off.
So what did happen then?
correct.
And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room.
Which you couldn't have noticed because you weren't going to go into your room, though it does seem extremely suspicious or careless. But, trial's already over. We went through all this.
It all has to be the work of the Mastermind, and in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me.
But why you? I mean, I get because of the knowledge you have, but you don't even have that much knowledge. I guess he was also tired of her just messing around.
Yeah.
I mean, he kept, and he does get revenge on people. So if he was personally slighted, no matter to what degree, then this is, whether it is the case or not, it's plausible based on what we've already seen.
Right.
That the Mastermind, when slighted, retaliates with death. So all this would mean that whoever killed Mukuro is also the Mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think.
But that's really bad if it's true. It means the Mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it, and neither of us have pointed out that this is still a violation of the rules. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? Good job! The Mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
You're right, that is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction.
So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the Mastermind is a stinky jerk face,
That bastard!
is the one who's been cornered.
The Mastermind is the one who's been cornered? Cornered by what? Kyoko having that key?
Probably.
It's not something like a growing sense of unity because Monokuma was actually able to quash that pretty well in the last trial.
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more, and I should be able to figure out the Mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair.
And ultimate despair. Why did you call Mukuro Ikusaba that?
Maybe that's kind of a transferable title.
Her profile, which Byakuya and Makoto looked at,
Is Ultimate Soldier.
yeah. So why was Kyoko saying that?
Maybe Ultimate Despair has something to do with the Killing Games.
The other Ultimate Despair.
There's no doubt that Mukuro was the Ultimate Despair, and that she's dead. But I don't think the Ultimate Despair is just one person.
It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, the Ultimate Despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event.
You're talking about...
What happened a year ago, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history.
the tragedy. Whoever's responsible for that, whatever it is, they're the ultimate despair?
It would seem...
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair.
A group, huh? So it's actually an organization? Then they're...
Make no mistake, they're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this.
So it is some sort of secret society that's behind the whole thing.
Phew! I'm very sorry, everyone. I don't understand why I sneezed.
Well, it's not Byakuya's fault.
Well, no, but that's the only other secret cabal we know about. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy.
Agreed. So what was this tragedy? The only thing we know is that everything in the school went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and that also that could explain all the different Monokumas in the different games. Like, they might each be a member of the ultimate despair.
Okay, I mean, that's potentially true. Other than the fact that we know they exist, I'm trying not to worry about the other games. We also know that the letter that letter that we found seemed to refer to this tragedy. But wouldn't that make it real localized then, and not something that hits the whole world? At least that's what we were thinking.
Yeah,
about.
That's kind of what it implied. But that might be what it means by bigger than we ever thought.
100-mile dash, pain of a junk food junkie.
Yeah.
What did that mean?
Dream Island rocket, huh? How interesting. Huh! 5 alive.
Is the name of the achievement. Well, that just means end of chapter 5,
okay,
you're alive, I guess.
Johnny 5 is alive!
I liked those movies.